bottom line is I'm very, very happy with the session. I want you to know that I'm looking forward to it because I'm learning a lot. Your questions are very good and the challenges are very, very interesting. And it just gives me food for thought for the whole week. And I like that. I want to go deeper and deeper to understand. Okay. The assignment that we gave ourselves is the relationship between love and mutual trust and respect. It emerged to remind, so we can get to the roots of the discussion, that in my startup, claim was that God is not Father in heaven, is not something, it is really an algorithm. It's a system of values that impregnates the energy, and conscious with mutual trust and respect energy is constructive because it creates symbiosis and creates synergy, and symbiosis and synergy, which I call symbiotic system, is what you see. Look at the trees, look at the everything. What you really see, that is organic. What you really see is a symbiotic system. It is synergetic because you have multiple subsystems that complement each other and collaborate, exchanging information, and there is a symbiosis that makes them cooperate. So you have collaboration and cooperation, symbiosis and synergy together creates all the growth. And the moment you remove mutual trust and respect from energy, it becomes destructive. So now the question really is everything alive, for instance? A rock is alive too, you know that? This table I'm sitting next to is alive too, because it has a lifespan. It disintegrates over time. Rocks have a lifetime. This is a very old rock, this is a very new rock. So what's the difference between a rock and a tree? A rock does not have consciousness and mutual trust and respect. That's the difference, in my mind. And some people, by the way, are rock. They're rock too. They have no mutual trust, no mutual respect. They're not conscious. They're like a rock. As far as I'm concerned, they're physically alive. Like this table is physically alive, but it's not spiritually alive. It does not interrelate with others. And that brings me to the other point. So you know where we are coming from. I see here. Yeah. That if you look at a kidney, and I was talking to some doctor now, I'm talking to anybody, is that the kidney really is conscious too. Every cell in our body is conscious, so they can relate to other cells in the body. So that the kidney, which is composed of multiple cells, can relate to the lungs or whatever. Everything is interrelated. What does not have it behaves like a rock, is a cancer. It's not conscious of mutual trust and respect, has no boundaries. That was a contribution that Michael gave us last time. It does not recognize boundaries. And when you don't recognize boundaries, which means you don't have respect for the difference of the other party, and you're not collaborating, you're not cooperating, and what happens? Here is what happens. When you don't have diversity, this is a very important insight I got this week, which blows my mind. This is diversity that collaborates. That's why you have a hand. You see this? This hand works because you have differentiated diversity that collaborates. Diversity that collaborates. This finger does the job. I don't know which language because I travel all over the world, but this I think it's Chinese. This is not called a thumb in that language. It's called a hand maker. Take this away and you don't have a hand. This is the integrator. This does not have to be a person. If it's a person, it can become a dictator. It has to be a system, like a constitution. Then it integrates. It's independent of a person. Now, what happens when we have together, but not different? Now you don't have a hand. There is no growth. Yes, there is growth. But the growth is by taking others over, like cancer. Cancer grows. What's going on? Hello. Please mute yourself. Or Tamara, you know to mute everybody except me, right?
Yeah.
So look what happens. Look at this. This cannot grow. Try to grow. Try to do anything with this. You don't have a hand. This is communism, fascism, blind nationalism, radical religions, my way or no way, I cut your head off if you don't believe in Muslim religion. And there is no growth. Not true. There is growth outside by taking others over. They grow that way, not that way. That's why all dictatorships have to grow. I was just watching a movie about Hitler. He had to grow out. The radical religions, they have to grow out. Catholic religion had to grow out to take others over because they don't grow this way. They grow differently. That's what happens to a cancer. It grows out by taking others, colonializing others. So that's a mutual trust and respect. The importance of mutual trust and respect, it creates. Respect creates synergy because we learn from each other. And trust creates symbiosis because we believe in a common good perception and we contribute and benefit from the common good. So that's God. That was where I started. And then somebody which I wish really would join. I would really want to make Mike like to join. And the religious Jew told me, yes, but who created energy? Who created water and soil and all the ingredients you're talking about? Has to be God. And God is love. So love created it all. Say, yes, love does create. That's true. You cannot do anything, cannot create without love. The founder of a company creates with love. If he doesn't have love, he doesn't have the patience, it's not going to work. The painter cannot do it unless he loves the painting. I cannot write my book unless I love what I write. But how do you operationalize it? So come on, guys, love each other. Love. Love what? I mean, what do I do now? So to operationalize it, they say it has to be mutual trust and respect. There is no love without mutual trust and respect. And my dear friend Yoram, as usual, like all Israelis, has to challenge it immediately. That's called the Talmudism, Jewish Talmudism. Right. You know, if he agrees, he feels he cannot sleep. You know, he will not sleep the whole week if he agrees. So now he says, not true. Somebody that is mentally, I don't know, problematic. I have a child that is mentally, let's say something. I love that person. I don't trust because he's mentally incapable. And I don't respect, he's mentally incapable, but I love it. So love is independent of mutual trust and respect. That's where we ended. And I said, okay, guys, is love and mutual trust and respect related? Because for me, I'm trying to operationalize love. Otherwise, it is empty words. Empty words. And if you look at the Bible, God does not say, love your parents. You realize that in the 10 Commandments. Honor your parents. When you get married in the Jewish religion, they don't, in other religions, they don't tell you, you will love each other till, you know, for life. No, 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 no. You will take care of each other, you know, in bad and good, which is trust. See, we see the symbiosis. You will take care of each other in good and bad. Love is really not, I don't hear you. I don't hear you, Michael.
Ask Yoram if trust and respect can exist in a genuine way without love. Can you reach genuine in trust and respect without love? Can that high level be achieved? Ask Yoram. Let him argue.
Go ahead, Yoram. Yoram is asking you. I have an answer, but I want to hear you.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Yes, you can what?
Trust and respect can prevail without love, and love can prevail without trust and respect.
Yes. The other way I didn't ask. I'm asking, how can you achieve a genuine level, high one, without love, without loving something? Can you achieve a high level of trust and respect in research without loving it, without falling in love with that which you are researching it?
Well, I think that we're getting here into the spiral of definitions. What Ichak is trying to do is trying to build a building block of definitions, so you'll be able to go from one item to the other item. And in this, when you create a circular thing, you don't solve anything.
Yeah, let me try.
In physics, you cannot solve anything by spiral. You can't define.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Look, let's break it down to components, otherwise we get into a red hole. Can you love without empty NR? Can you
Yes.
have empty NR and not love? These are two different directions. So let's take one direction at a time. Make sense?
Yeah.
But before we can start, guys, remember, this is very important for conflict resolution. In the Adizes methodology, and I'm really following the Bible, not realizing without being even a religious Jew. I just already realized, oh, it is already done. Look what God did in this creation. Gave a name to everything. And this is now water, and now this is sky, and this is day, and this is night. Give it a name, because we cannot communicate unless we define the words we use. So let's define the word trust, because I think we are falling into trap here, Yoram, the way you use the word trust. When you said, if somebody is mentally problematic, how can I trust him? I said, definitely I can, because I have a different definition of trust. You are trusting him to bring you something. He's mentally incapable, so you say, I cannot trust him. You have a P definition of trust. P definition of trust is, do you deliver what you promise to deliver? That's one definition of trust. There's an A definition of trust. Do you walk your talk? Now, I have an I definition of trust. Let me tell you what the I definition of trust is. We have to really, what the words we are using. I trust, I have faith that we have a common interest. And I have a common interest with a child which is mentally sick. I have. Because you know something? I care for you regardless. Trust for me is there is a common interest. Not whether you, that's a definition. You don't have to accept the definition. I'm going the I definition. Because you see, guys, all words I'm now interested in philologically is you can interpret. Love, you can interpret P-A-I is a different interpretation of love depending are you P love, A love, E love, or I love. I'm talking trust as an I phenomenon. As an I phenomenon, I trust this kid because I have a common interest with him. Do I respect him? Oh my God, you can learn from a retired child a hell of a lot. Oh my God, a hell of a lot. Now, I say, I cannot, in my judgment, I cannot love somebody I have no interest in, common interest, we are in conflict of interest, and I learn nothing, you waste my time. Some people have something to say, and some people have to say something. They just waste my time. You know what? Go home.
So how many definitions of trust you have?
Look, I have 4 because of PAI. Yeah. But why do you think? Why do you think there must be only one definition? Who says so?
Well, in physics, there's only one definition for everything.
Well, but then I don't agree with physics. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's
why?
Guys, that is okay. That is okay. If you say you don't agree with physics, then
no, I don't agree with your interpretation of physics because I don't agree with that's true what you're saying. With all due respect, because words have different definitions. The word love has different definitions. Otherwise, there will be no philosophy. Why there is philosophy? Because that's what we're discussing. What does it mean? What is love? What is freedom? What is justice? What is truth? What is harmony? What is beauty? Subject I would like to discuss. Everybody has a different definition. By the way, do you realize why are we fighting? They're different religions, killing each other. There is one God. So we should be together. Why are we fighting? We are fighting because of definitions, how we practice. The Jews put a hat on. The Christians take the head off. The Muslims take the shoes off. Very soon somebody is going to take his pants off. This is what the hell is the difference? I have
We
no
fight,
problem going to
we
it
fight
is a
because of
definition.
interpretations, not
That's
because of
right. This is the same thing I'm saying to you now. How do you interpret trust? And I'm giving you you don't have to use a tool. I'm finding this tool very helpful. When I look at a problem, I start putting it PAI terms and I understand it much better. I understand why you and me disagree. You interpret trust in P, I interpret trust in I. That's where we disagree. So how do you define the word? And I can use the tools of PAI to understand you better. And I recommend to all of you guys, please buy. I don't have enough copies to give all of you. My book, Leading the Leaders. How do you understand people whose style is different from yours? It will help you enormously in your marriage, in your friendship. I sit in parties and I understand people very well because I know what's going on. Henry.
Question, what's the E definition of trust?
That's a very good question. That we are growing. I believe we are going somewhere. I believe that we are not staying in one place. I trust we are going somewhere together. We are growing together. I believe in our future. Not that we have a common interest today, which is an I, but we have a common interest in the future. Okay? So now, I'm saying in my judgment, and please disagree with me. Please disagree with me. I learn from disagreement. You cannot love if we don't have a common interest, if we don't believe in the future. You know the problem in Israel, Yoram, is, Yoram, there is no common definition of what Israel is about. There is no common definition. What does it mean to be a Jew? We don't have a common definition. So that's why the trust is broken down. Because we don't have a commonality. There is no I.
There is common definition, but there is no common interpretation.
No. There is no common interpretation because there is differentiation of definition. Not true. No, but different interpretation of the definition. There's different definition. Now you're playing with me, Talmudism. Stop. So now your question, Michael. Can you love without MTNR? I said no. But can you have MTNR and not love? That's the next question.
I don't think so.
I believe yes. I will tell you why. It's a beginning. My guru for meditation says, remember, love is a muscle. Start building it. The more you love, the more you have, the more you give, the more you get. So when there is mutual trust and respect, there is a beginning of love. It's not love, it's a beginning of love. But if there is no mutual trust and respect, there is not even beginning. Yes. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Don't look for love. Look for mutual trust and respect and build it. And love will come. That's my prescription. When you talk about applications of this, I respect you. Teach me. Wow, this guy really, thank you. You enriched my life. Thank you, Yoram. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, all of you. And you know what? I believe we have a common interest. What's the common interest? In this case, to learn, to enrich ourselves. And you know what? I started to like you guys. It starts with liking. What is liking? I like because of. I like you because I trust you. I like you because I respect you. And that liking continue growing. And all at once you're going to say, you know what? I love you. You cannot start with love. Because love has to be built. So they are one and the same. It's a question of degree. The reason why it's easier to love than to do mutual trust and respect, you're absolutely right. But you know what? No, that's a good question. How can it be? It's easier for me to love than to respect and trust. Well, that's maybe a good
You
point.
know, you go back to the definition. Define love. Because you have more than one definition of love, I can always find a combination that will break your rationale. You can't have, when you try to build an algorithm and each variable is actually 4 variables, you never solve the algorithm.
No, you don't do 4 variables. Take 1 variable and work with that variable. You don't have to do 4 variables. I chose it for me in order. You can use the 4 variables one at a time. Like PAI does not exist at the same time simultaneously. But you can P now, then I A later, then I E later, and I later. You know, it is, you do it simultaneously, you do it at time. Like I say, look, guys, when I have to set up the table that my wife tells me to set up the table, I P. I go do the job and finish and get over it. When I come to the office, as Rufat knows, I'm a big A. When I'm with my clients, I'm a big E. When I'm with my kids, I'm a big I. Who am I? I'm all of them. Over time. But what you cannot do, simultaneously PAI. That you cannot do. That's the difference.
Okay, so the definition of love in you, your definition of love is changing every time that you change the
Absolutely.
view of
Absolutely.
who you are.
No,
Now,
not who I am.
because,
It's the conditions, the situation.
okay,
Again.
okay. So if love is changing as timely condition, then you can't come to any conclusion because every time you'll have a different conclusion.
It is just opposition. That's the opposite, Yoram. You can look. It gives you the capability to understand situations. If my wife did not bring me the coffee today, while I'm sitting with you guys, I say, it's a love. Say, you don't take care of me, you take me for granted. You see that? Yes. Love, don't be unidimensional. Life is not unidimensional, it's multidimensional. So look at it from different angles. And I'm giving you different angles. Very soon we are going to bring the copy model into the game. Now you have another 3 variables, 4 variables. Life is not so simple. So you look at it, it changes with the situation. I'll give you another one. I don't know how many of you read.
Wait a second. Let me just say one thing. You're talking about a methodology. A methodology is supposed to be a recipe how to deal with issues, how to solve management, how to define leaders. Methodology. Methodology cannot be something that the variables are changing all the time because then
That's
there's
the
no
opposite.
methodology.
So can I say,
Not true. Not true.
can I
Go
say
ahead,
something?
Michael? Yes, Mike.
So, you see, I'm thinking again about my comment about boundaries. The establishment of love needs a context. So when Urim says there's different definitions of love, it flows from the context in which we're talking. I'm thinking that when I did management consulting, if I didn't have the total commitment of the president to define the container for our work, nothing good happened after that. Okay, so at some level, you have to have a common container or bubble or framework that everything exists in.
But you're right, but I don't know how it's related to what we are discussing, Michael, because
So
what is pushing me is to have one definition and clarity, and that's it. And I say life is not so simple for me. I'm a multidimensional. I look at it all the time and I said, oops, this is not a P, this is an A now. Okay, now we are here. Where are we? And I maintain certain flexibility. I'll give you an example. That's a difference between you and me, I think, Yoram, and I don't want to get stuck with the discussion. Look, I in my last blog, I don't know many of you reading the blog, I was talking about what's a leader. And I was talking about a leader is somebody who commands and grants mutual trust and respect. If you're not respected, if you're not a thumb, you're not a leader in today's world. In the past, this was a leader. And somebody challenged me, if you look at the comments, he said, But you need to have this finger to be a leader. You need to have a vision. And I said, you're absolutely right, I misspoke. This alone is not a leader. This is a super follower. What are you integrating? What are you integrating? You're a super follower. Like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You're nobody. This is what I dislike with organizational development. People get sick of organizational development interventions in companies. They tell me, Dr. Adizes, just don't do OD, please. Why? You know, sitting around and talking about how we should harmonize, how we should respect each other, and everybody says, you know, enough. Pardon me, the word masturbation. This is alone. This has to be applied to something. Now, what I is a platform. Without it, there is no leadership. But that alone is nothing. So if I have an IE, I have a leader, visionary leader. But I can have an IA. This is the leader says, enough with a mess, let's get organized. This organization, that's what Henry and we are talking about. Henry, right? I need somebody to put order in this mess. That's a leader too. He's not visionary. And I need an IP too. What kind of a leader is that? Guys, we are in a crisis, enough talking, everybody together, let's go and finish the job and get the job done. So IE is a leader, IA is a leader, IP is a leader. I alone is not a leader.
Well,
So
we have
that's why it's now, wait. Whether it's functional, IE, IA, or IP, depends where you're on the life cycle. You see, everything is contingent, Yoram. It's not like this. I know where you're coming from, Yoram. I know you. You're an engineer. The most difficult people to work in companies are engineers. They have everything, you know, fixed, and that's it. And don't tell me too much. I know exactly. Give me the formula and get out of the way. I'm sorry if I'm offensive, but I worked enough engineers. Anytime I work with a company with a lot of engineers, I double my charges and double of time it will take to do anything. Because they are very fixed in thinking, very mechanistical, unless you're in electronic engineering, they're different, interestingly. Mechanical engineering, the worst. Systems engineering, I still can work. Mechanical engineering, oh my God, I sweat my life. So listen to me. Listen to this. It's all contingent. Nothing is fixed. If you're an infant organization, I want an IP leader. Get the job done. Stop talking so much. If I'm in a go-go, I want an IE leader. If I'm in adolescence, I want an IA leader. When I get to prime, I want another IE. So the leadership changes, like parenting changes. How you parent your children changes depending on their age. You cannot, which in America, we are doing this mistake all the time. We take little children, treat them as adults. Later on, we are going to suffer, I'm telling you. They're children. What kind of adults? They're not an adult. And don't treat an adult like it's a children. It's all contingent. So you have the tools and you cook it depending on the situation. And if you make a mistake, you correct yourself. I'm not giving you a solution. This methodology is not a solution. This methodology is tools to find a solution. My new book, I was just working last night till 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what the new book is? Instruments for diagnosis and treatment of companies. Instruments. I'm not giving a solution. Instruments. Which instrument do you use depending on the situation you're facing? So let's summarize this.
What you call leader.
We have Leboisha.
Allow me very few minutes just to explain something. I think it will contribute to our discussion. All of us know very famous Einstein equation, E equals mc squared. This is the most popular equation. But there is another connecting with unified field theory. I do not like to explain ingredients or components of equation, but what is the essence? In Einstein's unified field theory connected with gravitation, there is one very interesting least popular equation. And this equation tells us the following thing. On the left side, there are time-space components. On the right side, there are matter-energy components. But the true meaning of this equation is that four components, time, space, energy, matter, are not independent. If we change one component, the rest of the three will also change. This is something like PAEI. Time, space, energy, matter are very fundamental categories. So something similar, if we talk about PAI, we have fundamental categories. Greek philosopher Empedocles, before Aristotle and Plato, introduced four elements.
Wow. 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 You're in the Boisha. Listen to me. Listen to me. Wow. Wow. Time, space, matter, and energy.
Energy, yes.
Now, put PAI on it. What is time?
E,
E. What is space?
A,
What is matter?
matter.
P.
P.
And what is energy? I.
Right.
Guys, this is blowing my mind. I'm getting. Oof.
Allow me.
It is the bloody PAI is repeating itself wherever you go. It's blowing my mind. It's blowing. I'm so
very
wow.
fundamental categories.
Can I say
Unbelievable.
something?
Sure. No. Let you finish. Let Boisha finish.
Allow me 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Excuse me. In addition, so by the same token, we must have some very fundamental definitions of main components. In each and every religion, we can find also four components as very basic core of each and every religion. What does it mean? One component is faith, the other is hope, the third is love, and the fourth is willingness to act. Not canonized, but we can recognize in each and every serious religion four components. This is also PAEI. From my point of view, willingness to act as very basic trait of human nature, of universe, of everything is P. Faith is A, hope is E, and love is I.
Can you repeat it? Hope.
Hope is A.
Okay.
Willingness to act is P.
What is it? What did it say?
Willingness to act. Willingness.
Act is P. Okay.
Hope is E, and love
Hope is A. You said. Hope you said A.
Sorry, faith is A. Faith is A.
Faith is A.
Faith is
Hope
A.
is E.
E is hope, and love is I.
I have to look at this. You and me have to talk about it a little bit more because I don't know how you get there. How did you get these four components?
By studying different religions.
All religions have these four components, you say?
Yes, but in different explained in different words.
Sure, with different words. By
Different
the way,
contexts.
Frank Buchman was a professor of comparative religion from Oxford. After the First World War, by the way, he created a whole movement called moral rearmament. And he said that all religions have four components, all of them. Love, purity, unselfishness, and honesty. And this is a whole movement called the Frank Buchman movement. It's called also MRI movement. And what you do, by the way, I copied that. I copied that for myself. That every day you sit and you ask yourself, am I living up to these four characteristics? And you write yourself in a diary. You spend every morning, like meditation. And then once a week we get together, moral rearmament group, and discuss where are you struggling with these issues. And I'm copying that for the MRI, for the mutual respect and trust. But this is very interesting. We have to discuss it more. Can you tell me why do you believe that hope is E and faith is A? And because the other four components, time, space, matter, and energy, I wrote it, but I asked you, and we see it was already written. We agreed. This I'm not so clear. So it is. When we send you the
Okay, I'll prepare some
Okay.
deeper explanations.
Right. Okay, so anybody else, because I don't want Yoram and me to dominate. Anybody else have something to say before we continue? No? All right, guys. Conclusions from this part of the discussion is that love, in my judgment now, that's my conclusion. Just love is, I don't know what to do with it. I know what to do with mutual trust and respect because I have operationalized it. Respect this means to accept the sovereignty of the other party to be different. Michael called it accepting boundaries. And trust, which took me a long time to understand, is a faith that we have a common interest, and thus we're willing to collaborate, not to cooperate. In the synergy, we collaborate, we create together. Here we cooperate in the implementation because we have faith in the common interest. End of the story. Now, what we need to do then is talk less about love and talk more about mutual trust and respect. And ask ourselves the question of, do I love you? No. Do I respect you? Do I trust you? Do I trust the system we belong? That is easier. As I said, if you look at the Bible, it doesn't tell you to love. There is nothing about love in the Bible, to the best of my knowledge. There's about mutual trust and respect. It is in the Jewish one. All the commandments are about trust and respect. Kosher food, how do you kill an animal, is with respect. Everything is about it. And then why do you keep, 1/10 of your field unharvested? That's for trust. We have a common interest to give the poor people opportunity to have something to eat. So really, I think that's the focus should be. And in a marriage, that's the focus should be. Because if you focus on love, you'll get divorced. You don't love me. No, you don't love me. No, I do love you. No, you don't love me. You know what? You're going in circles. Are you treating me with respect? Or you're shouting at me, don't let me talk. Or don't let me express what I think. Or you dominate me. And you take control of the discussion. And you're always right. And I don't have a chance to express myself. Thank you very much. That tells you. Or I cannot trust you because you lie to me. If we focus on mutual trust and respect, love is sustainable. If there is no mutual trust and respect, love is not sustainable. That is my claim. And what we do in companies now, at this methodology, our success has been taking companies from 12 million to 4 billion. Look at we have testimonials from a person. Costas will tell you how successful his company was because with this methodology. Is by building mutual trust and respect. Now it brings us to the next point, new discussion. And tell me if you agree or not. Love your neighbor. A Jewish religion, I was just talking to a rabbi 2 days ago. He says basically, the whole Jewish religion, the essence of it is as I say, if you stand on one foot, what is the essence of the whole thing? Is love your neighbor like you love yourself. And what is that? You need for that mutual trust and respect. Okay, good. But then it made me think, what about the counter? Hate your neighbor the way you hate yourself. How about that? Maybe that's what the problem is. Because when you hate yourself, when you don't have self-respect and self-trust, how can I trust you? How can I respect you? The psychology says, success is from the inside out. Absolutely true. In order to trust others and to respect others, you have to start by trusting and respecting yourself. All these, hippies try to change the world and they are themselves falling apart. Does not work. Like some general in West Point said, start by making your bed, in the morning. Stop trying to change the world. Make your bed in the morning. Clean up your room first. So really, what you have to start with, and I'm encouraging you to get my book. As I told you, I have my book, my memoir. I just finished writing it. Anybody is interested to get an early copy, write Tamara. I struggle with this question all my life. Because look at this. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. And now your comments. I am disclosing in my book, so it's not a secret. I did not believe in love all my life. I didn't believe it. I was even arguing with people. There is no love. Because I'm a Holocaust survivor and I saw my most loved ones get killed. And I believed if I love them, they will disappear. And what happened? Because I could not believe in love. I could not believe in trust and respect. Rufat will tell you, people that work with me will tell you, I have a lot of problems with trust and respect. Here I'm teaching mutual trust and respect. I cannot practice it. I could not practice it. I did not trust anybody. I was so scared, micromanaging all the time. And I did not show much respect either. I knew everything and I was right all the time. You know why? And I could not love. My little children will tell me, Daddy, you don't love us. So what do you mean I don't love? I teach you soccer. I'm your coach. What do you want from me? They were right. Why? Because I could not trust and respect. If you cannot trust and respect, you cannot love. You have to start with mutual trust and respect, guys. That's where it starts. So really, here is my question here. What is it, my note here? If you fear love, you cannot respect. If you are scared of love is a fear. There is a famous book, let off of fear. To love, let go of fear. I was living in fear all the time. The people that I love will disappear. They will die. So I could not love. I could not love. I did not marry with love. I married because I want to have children. I could not. And because of that, people told me, you teach respect, you teach trust, but you don't practice. You're absolutely right. You cannot. And if you cannot respect and trust, you cannot love. That was my case. I could not trust. I was scared. So what happened? I could not love. They are mirrors of each other, guys. They're mirrors of each other. The way I broke my stuckiness. That's what my book is about. Is by saying, let go of love. Leave it alone. Start working in mutual trust and respect. And that's what the methodology I created. To listen to each other, not to interrupt each other, pass to the right, call the person by the first name. All of that is A system to develop I. It's an A system to develop I. I could not develop I by itself. I develop an A system. Don't tell me whether you respect me or not. I don't care. If God wanted us to know what we think about each other, there will be a television screen here. We don't have a television screen. God does not want us to know what we think about each other. So I don't care if you love me. I don't care if you respect me. I don't care if you trust me. Behave as if you do. That's what the Adizes methodology is about. We call a meeting of top management. They want to kill each other. We don't talk about trust and respect. We talk about be on time. Call each other by name. Wait for your turn. Do not interrupt. Go by the decision-making steps. You're going too fast ahead of yourself. Rules, 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 rules. People tell me, Dr. Adizes, you created bureaucracy here. I said, no bureaucracy, order. And you know what happens? You know, those set up clients, you know what happens. Wow, we have a great team here. I didn't realize how great is this team in this company. And they start trusting each other. And they start respecting each other. What happened? Following the rules. There is no mutual trust and respect without rules of behavior. Even in war, there are rules of behavior. What do you do with people that you captives? The problem we are having today is that the terrorists have a different rules of the game than we have. They're on a different book. To be civilized is to have rules of behavior. Rufat.
Yeah, Dr. Adizes, you're mixing too much. I think respect and trust together in one sentence. And I agree that the sessions that are like very robust, structured, can enable building a respect among members of a team. But I do not agree that these rules can enable trust.
You're right,
because
absolutely.
Trust takes much more time, and it's an emergent property over multiple and long interactions between people. And one session or even several sessions within a group would not automatically build trust, although would definitely contribute to respect. So I would suggest that we do not mix together trust and respect in the same sense.
You're absolutely right, Rufat. You're absolutely right. Let me tell you what we are doing about it already. Maybe you're not aware of it, but I'm going to discuss it at the convention in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to present it. The methodology developed a good methodology for respect. Trust, we left it for those that don't know. Please give us 5 minutes because you will not understand what I'm talking about unless you're Costas and those that know the methodology. We left trust all the way to phase 11 for common interest. Too late. Too late. Our CNET team integration is working only on the left side, on PAEI, not on copy. And what you need to do is integrate C and I, not only I. You have to integrate the sigma. And we don't have a methodology for developing the C. So what I did was to remember, we have now 11A, 11B, 11C, remember? So you have to bring the phase 11 much earlier, all the way earlier to start building trust earlier. That's how the methodology is changing. We have to change the 11 phases to really integrate 11 much earlier. That's why I broke it down to A, B, and C. You see that? But I absolutely agree with you. That's the next challenge. Took 50 years to develop a methodology for mutual respect. Now we have to start developing mutual trust. Okay, so I agree with you. Totally agree with you. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Yoram.
You started this session by saying that you define a leader as someone who is able to command mutual trust and respect. And I agree with that, except...
No, not able. Manifests.
Manifest. Okay. Someone who manifests mutual trust and respect. And I agree with that, but with one caveat. And the caveat is that this is only for the long term. It's not for the short term. And the reason why I'm saying that it's not true for the short term is later on you said that every morning you are a different person, and every company in a different position on the life cycle requires a different leader. So if you in a go-go require IA or EA or whatever you want to do, and it's different than you need in prime, then the leader is not a constant function. So manifest mutual trust and respect may not be true. And
No. You're
more
totally
than that,
mistaken.
what you also said is that when you say that in different stages you need different leader, then you bring into question whether or not the leader needs to be only one who manifests mutual trust and respect. And I would argue that leader for the short term, especially in crisis, does not need to manifest mutual trust and respect. He needs to manifest trust only, not respect even.
No, but no way, Yoram, no way. Listen, please stay with the definitions. You like definitions. I is mutual trust and respect. There is no I without mutual trust and respect. What is I? Integration. You cannot integrate unless there is mutual trust and respect. And extreme integration is love, which means extreme mutual trust and respect, no questions about is this love. So there is a continuum, okay? Now, I said a platform for any leadership is I. Whether you are in an infant, you still need mutual trust and respect. You need IP. So you use your mutual trust and respect to do P. Guys, trust me, let's get going. Like in the military. A good commander in a war says, move. And people say, I trust you, they move. If they don't trust him, they shoot him from the back. You need I. Any leader needs to be an I at every stage of the life cycle. What changes is not the leader. What changes is a style. Now, if you cannot change your style, which happens usually in adolescence, you have to change the leader. It was good I, P, and IE. Usually founders of companies are PEs. And good founders of companies are IEP. Okay? People that are PEs with mutual, that have trust, that are trusted and respected. But the problem is they cannot develop the A. They cannot change to A. Then you have to replace them. And that's what happens in adolescence. That's why in the adolescence it's such a big struggle. Because now you need an IA. And the A and the E start fighting. What you need to, so a good, by the way, I have a blog about it, very interesting. I said, how do you choose the right partner in life? You know, when we are young, you're sexually attracted, and that's what you want. Oh, gorgeous, you know. Then you marry and you find out the needs change. Now we need a person, let's say for a husband, whatever. Somebody's a good earner, brings the food, you know, brings the bacon to the table. He's not sleeping all day long, or somebody's surfing all day long, you know, or playing his saxophone all day long. He's an earner. Now that we have children, are you a good parent? Now that the children left the house, are you a good partner that we can sit down by the fire and just talk and reminisce? Do you realize that a good partner is somebody who can change his style? Because if he doesn't change his style, what happens? You're not fulfilling the needs, I want a divorce. You want a partner that when you look at it from the beginning, you ask, is that partner capable to change as the marriage changes, and the life cycle of a marriage changes?
But
So
that's
it's
not what I said.
No, but you need an I. The common denominator to all this, the platform is the same.
Okay, can I just, one quick thing. When a company is in a crisis,
You need an
very
IP.
often,
You need an IP.
wait, let me finish. When a company in a crisis, very often you have no choice but to replace the leader. When you bring a new leader, he has no trust, no respect, he's a new guy. Nobody knows what it is.
Why do you say that? Why do you necessarily have to change the leader? Why?
That's what happens in chapter 11 when a company is in almost.
If the person is not capable of changing his style, you're absolutely right.
It's not a person.
But
When a company goes to chapter 11 bankruptcy, the judge says, put somebody else because this guy is not trusted by the investors, not all the others.
oh, okay, that's a different story. No,
So
somewhere else.
so
a different story. That's a different story.
leader, for someone to succeed to take a company from chapter 11 restructuring, he doesn't need to have not trust and not respect or anything. He needs to have power. That's all what they need to have.
Just to remind you, you're talking now, you forgot a lecture you gave to us 20 years ago. How you survived when you were going bankrupt. You went to the bankers and you told them, trust me. You remember? I will pay you. And they trusted you. And you talk to your people, say, trust me. They stayed with you. Just the opposite. You were just the opposite. You're now not, you forgot your own experience. That's what enchanted me when you gave that speech to our convention. That just the opposite, my dear friend. What accentuates, it speeds up the divorce. What accentuates the bankruptcy is lack of trust and respect at the leader. But if the leader can maintain trust and respect, it will survive. It will survive. Now, anybody else, because we have to be very careful, Yoram, that we do not dominate here. So anybody else? Leboisha.
I'd like to remind you to one very interesting figure in psychology, Viktor Frankl. I suppose you know the guy, the name.
I have a picture with him.
Yes, I know. Very interesting. And he's so-called inventor of logotherapy. And besides therapeutic methodology, etc., special kind of psychoanalysis, he said something very interesting. Very frequently, we forget to see two different planes, vertical and horizontal. And by confusing vertical and horizontal plane, very frequently we meet a trap regarding how to articulate, how to interpret human reality, etc. So I'll make a shortcut, right to the point. Horizontal plane belongs to so-called operational things, operational intelligences. Vertical plane is so-called spiritual plane. Something we have as gifts from God. On lower level, PAEI belong to horizontal plane, operational plane. That means P is intelligence of doing, A is cognitive intelligence, E is creative intelligence, I is social intelligence. What we miss is vertical plane. At the very top is so-called spiritual intelligence. Immediately below ourself or our identity, deep identity, value system, moral intelligence, emotional intelligence. And at the very bottom is our physical body, and connected with it, our mental health. So this is a system. Viktor Frankl just opened the door. And all the time, we must realize regarding the couples, marriage, etc., we have to choose a different person with complementary style, but only up to certain boundaries, not totally different styles. But what is source of our integration is vertical plane. And all that matter, mutual trust and respect, enthusiasm, love, hope, faith, etc., etc., belong to vertical plane. So we must differentiate. And if you choose partner, what is important? To have complementary styles in horizontal plane, complementary, but as much as possible similar in vertical plane. Spiritual similarity, identity similarity, value system similarity, not complementary value system. We do not need complementary value system because we cannot function as integrated couple. So we need complementary intelligences in horizontal plane, but very similar in vertical plane. So once again, we need similar value system, not complementary value system. We need similar fate, not different fates. So dare to think.
Listen to me now, what you're saying. Let me interpret it my way. I hope that you guys have read my book, otherwise you will not understand what I'm talking about. Look at the map, left and right on the map. Right? On the left you have PAI, on the right you have copy. Right? Now look. When you say same value, same faith, same is a commonality. On the right, you have to have a commonality. On the left, you have to have a diversity. That's why you have united diversity. Do you see that? Now, how do we create commonality on the right side? There must be common faith, common interest, common value, commonality. In the Adizes methodology, you remember how we create mutual trust and respect? Common vision and values is the first variable, right? That is the right side, okay? The left side is diversity. That was a mistake, by the way, that many people make. What is first, the right side or the left side? On the left side, you have respect, diversity, respect for diversity. On the right side, you have trust in the commonality. Now pay attention, in the English language at least, what do we say? Mutual trust and respect. You don't say mutual respect and trust. It somehow does not roll off the tongue very well. Mutual trust and respect. Trust is ahead. Because if I don't trust you, why am I going to listen to your differentiation of opinion? Because I don't know what are you trying to sell me and what are you trying to get from me, right? So as I told you in Hebrew, kabdeu vechashdeu. No, chashdeu vekabdeu. To be the opposite. So now look at this. That was Gorbachev's mistake. And I wrote a paper to him. By the way, some of you are old enough to know who Bob Haldeman was, chief of staff at the White House that was in prison for Watergate. When he left the prison, he came to work for the Adizes Institute. And he was my associate until he died from cancer. And we wrote a paper that we sent to Gorbachev. Here is why your thing is not going to work. Your revolution is not going to work. Because he had glasnost, which is what? Diversity, freedom of speech. And what was perestroika? To change the system, economic system, from central planning to economic system. That deals with interests. And if you don't have a common interest, how are you going to have it here on the left side? So what he did, mistake that he did is he started with respect. And he created diversity, freedom, without common interest. And what happened? Soviet Union fell apart. The Chinese are doing the opposite. They're controlling common interest here. not this way, this dictatorship, not with a system of values. When one of these days they're going to beat the dust. They will have to do it. They're going to hit the wall because they have a value system of common interest is done by dictatorship, not not like we have it as a constitution, as a value system, as a value system. So they have a commonality of interest and they are allowing diversity in the economy, but they're controlling it. He did the opposite. He opened the gates for diversity without common interest. And what happens? Divorce. Normal. That was his mistake, and we wrote to him. And you know who messed him up? This guy, Jeffrey Sachs, Harvard University professor of economics. They sent him to Russia to teach them market economy. And Gorbachev was telling him, please, we don't have the institutions yet. Yes, we need to do market economy, you know, blah, blah. And what happened, guys? Too early. You have to do it at the right sequence. Trust first, then respect. I cannot respect somebody that I don't believe have common interest with me. Now, I want to react to what you said, Nebojša, because it's related. Something new. Here you have the vertical. Okay? Now what is the vertical? There are different levels of spirituality, of integration. Different levels of I. Those of you don't understand. You have P-A-I. P-A-E-I. I is not in the same league with P-A and E. They're not in. They're a different league. That's why they are the platform for the other three. I is a platform for the other three. It's a different one. It's a platform. So I take I out of PAE and put it in the center. Copy. C is a different than AE, than authority, power, and influence. It is the I of authority, power, and influence. Take the C, bring it to the center. Now what do you get? A sigma. That's what he was working on in the paper that was supposed to be sent to you. The sigma. The integration of I and C, which means mutual trust and respect. In the center of synergy, symbiosis and synergy. That's in the center. Symbiosis and synergy together. That's the sigma. Now look, and by the way, you know what I picked it up? From the French Revolution. Liberté on the left. Égalité, common interest on the right. Fraternité is in the center. That is a big I. That's the I and C put together. Common interest and learning from each other. Now, what you blew my mind, Nebojša, gave me a big insight. Thank you very much. Listen to this. On the right side, you have copy. What it is? Control. Either control by system of values, which is absolute, or by dictator, who says, my interests are the interests of the country. So you do what I tell you, my interpretation of the interest. Now look, something very interesting. If it's independent integration, dictatorship integration, copy. I believe as you ascend on the left, the right goes down. I let go of my power. The more spiritual I become, the more I yield. I accept my vulnerability and accept God. That's why, you know, by the time you become a saint, Mother Teresa, and by the way, I want you to know I was born in the same city with Mother Teresa. Okay, 100 yards from each other. Where are you? Elena Mladenovska, she is there, right in the same city. Dobro jutro, Elena. So you see, as you ascend on the spiritual side, your sense of control descends. Now your value system is this one. You accept this, the spirituality as your value system. And as your spirituality declines, your self of impotence, of omnipotence increases. That's why dictators have very little spirituality. They have a tremendous hotel. If you want to increase spirituality, you have to decrease your sense of omnipotence. They're interrelated. By the way, this is Hegelian. It's very interesting. Hegelian, why? Look, analysis of opposites. What pertains to this does not pertain to this. What pertains to this does not pertain to this. They're interrelated. They're interrelated. And what you want to do is this. All the time alignment, nothing out of extreme. And the Boisha did a research several years ago for Mensa, people that have high level of intelligence. And he did have something very interesting that is really blowing my mind. He tested their PAI style and compared to control group that are not Mensa, that are not so high level on their intelligence. And you know what was the difference? The Mensa people, their PAI was not extreme, was more or less together. Not extremes, big P, small a. No, no, no. How interesting. In other words, you have a higher level of intelligence when you're balanced. You're balanced. Why is that true? Why apparently it's true? I mean, you blew my mind. How long ago did you tell me that? 5, 10 years ago? I've been still thinking about it. Why is it true when you're balanced, your intelligence increases? It's not intelligence, it's capability to process information. Because when you have a differentiation in the PAI, the roles fight so much, you lose a lot of energy in the fight. You don't have energy to process the information. You're spending it. It is the internal disintegration takes information, takes energy away from external integration. But when you are balanced, you're at peace. You're at peace. And when you are at peace, you see things. When you see things, you can process information much better because you have much more energy. If you meditate, and I meditate now, I try to meditate every day. You know why? You will see better what's going on. You bring peace. And you will bring peace, you start seeing things that you don't see otherwise. You see much further. It brings you peace. The people that are the best leaders that I had in my experience working in companies are very peaceful. Very peaceful. They see, they talk, you know. There's a peace. Because they have a peace, they have energy to deal. But when you're fighting your own devils, your own demons, you don't have energy for other people. When you're hiring somebody, pay attention to the following thing, very important. How often do they interrupt you when you talk? If they interrupt you all the time, don't hire them. You know why? They don't have self-esteem. They try to protect something all the time. They try to prove something all the time. A guy that is quiet, before he reacts, it takes him, he counts to 100 and then he reacts. He's not boring. He's not stupid. He's thinking. That's the person you want as your leader. Because he's at peace with himself. He knows what he knows. He knows what he does not want. Does not have to prove everything. Peace, at peace. Look at the people. My problem is Trump, for instance. I don't know how many of you are Trumpists. I hope I'm not offending anyone. Many of his decisions I like. I really do. I think the guy had some very good decisions that America needs to have. Like, you know, Russia is not the enemy. China is the enemy. And NATO, he wanted to say the hell with NATO. We're wasting our money. Why are we giving them all? He's right. I agree with many of his decisions. But I will not vote for him. Why? Because he accelerated the disintegration of American society, breaking down mutual trust and respect, which is the biggest asset this country has. And when we lose that asset, we are cooked, guys. We are cooked. We are done. We are not going to be the leaders of the world. We are going to have an unofficial internal civil war, unannounced civil war. We are on our way down. He accentuated it. He accelerated it. But Biden is not capable of integrating. We have a problem, systemic problem here. It's not a leadership problem. It's a systemic problem of lack of eye. So, Neboisha, send your paper when you finish writing it. So maybe, and please, guys, please read my book. I don't know, so many. I don't know which one you should read now. Mastering change, okay? At least mastering change. So you know PAI, you know copy, you know what we are talking about. Anybody else? Because I have assignments for next week to think. I will close with something. Here is a homework. Please apply copy and PAI to the following words: freedom, justice, truth, harmony, beauty. And now I want to close with an insight I got last night. I think I could not sleep. Love is a choice we make. We choose to love or not to love. Why? Because we choose to respect and trust. Look, in the Jewish, I think Talmud says, for the non-believers, there are no answers. For the believer, there are no questions. If you don't believe, no answer you give, they will find another reason why they disagree with you. Because they don't believe. Some people say, prove to me there is God, then I will believe in God. You will never find God. You have to start with, I believe in God. Now let me find him. I believe it exists. Let me find it. And you will find it in a tree. You will find it in a smile of a child. You will find it everywhere you look. Because you will find synergy everywhere you look. But if you don't believe in God, prove it to me. It will not be there. Same thing. Prove it to me that there is love, then I will love. You will never find it. You have to start with faith. I made a choice. I will love. I love, period. Now let me start. Let me start. Small, mutual trust and respect. Happiness is a choice. Health is a choice we make. Success is a choice we make. I will explain all of those. Democracy is a choice. In the Jewish religion, every week there is something called parasha. I'm not religious, but I'm discovering so much from the Jewish religion, which is mind-blowing to me. Parasha means every Friday you read something, I don't know, and you interpret the Bible or something. And there is a discussion of what the different rabbis say. This week or last week was a Parashat Re'eh. What is Parashat Re'eh? And something was I just got it in the internet. It says that a blessing, maybe because we are coming close to Yom Kippur, a blessing or a curse, God does not bless you and God does not curse you, according to this Parasha. We create the blessing and we create the curse in our behavior. That's what I was telling you. God is in us. We create God. He's not there. We create God in how we behave. So you decide in your behavior, is it going to be a curse? And you decide, it's a choice. In your behavior, whether it's going to be a blessing. Same thing with love. You decide, I'm going to love a priori. I'm going to start building a mutual trust and respect. Or you say, no, I don't believe in it. Then you're never going to find it. Like I could not find it for 70 years of my life. Happiness is a choice. I choose to be happy. Now I'm going to find what makes me happy. Or I choose not to be happy. Many people, including me, by the way, I'm only telling you the truth. I'm an unhappy man. By and large, I'm an unhappy man. I think because of the Holocaust. That's what I have difficulty being happy. It's a choice. You have to make a choice. I'm going to be happy now. What makes me happy? Let me do things that make me happy. Health. What will make me healthy? Poverty is not a fact. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. You have to get out of the state of mind. Now, here is an interesting conclusion on this. The most important things in life are choices that we have to make. They're not given to us. Choices we have to make. The most important things in life, love, happiness, health, success, are all choices. And we cannot accuse anybody else. Or show it to me, then I will believe it. Start swimming. Mama, how far is America? Shut up, start swimming. It's a choice we make. And we have to start somewhere by believing in it. The most important things in life, you know by their absence. You don't know what love is until you don't have love. You don't know what happiness is until you're unhappy. You don't know what health is till you're sick. So don't wait for it to be given to you. Grab it by both hands and start working on it, because you're the master of your destiny. Thank you, guys. See you next week. See you next week. Yes, all the best, everybody. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. By the way, send me some feedback if you think that I'm dominating too much and you would like to talk and I don't give you a choice. I want it to be a seminarion and not just a teaching class. But I'm
You're
so
doing
excited.
fine,
I'm
and we
learning.
have this. You're doing fine. We have the secret weapon called Yoram, so we are doing well.
Okay, Yoram, yes, Yoram.
Just a quick one. You started this session by saying God is an algorithm, and you ended up by saying that everything needs to be a choice. A choice means a decision that you have to make.
Yes.
If you need to have faith, and faith is a choice, then God cannot be an algorithm. Something is wrong in the process here. God cannot be an algorithm if you have to make a choice. Algorithm, you don't make any choice.
No. I apply the choice.
That's
to
a
believe in
definition
God.
of algorithm.
No, then the hell with the word algorithm. Formula. I don't know. Give me
Sorry,
another word.
I'm not here.
No,
I'm
no.
not here to cause troubles.
No.
But
Wait a moment.
I am.
Wait.
What I'm trying to do is bring in consistency
Nebojša
to what
is
you
my
say.
guy. Find out what's the definition of algorithm, because I don't trust this guy. Find out what is the definition of algorithm. I don't know. I just use the word algorithm because I don't know. It came to my mind. Henry, you know what the definition is?
I'm not working on that, but let me suggest that if God's in us, then we are part of the algorithm. And therefore, we can't isolate ourselves outside of it or God outside of us.
Well,
God
then
is-
that
God
creates
is-
an endless spiral.
Oh God. Okay.
We're,
Guys,
we're,
we discuss next week. All I was saying is we create God in our behavior by following the algorithm. Forget algorithm, the formula, the instruction, the recipe. I don't know, find a word that makes more sense to you. Okay? There is a rule, okay? Book of rules, mutual trust and respect. Okay? I'm using the word algorithm because I will try to use an analogy to the computer. If you don't follow the algorithm of the application doesn't work. So if you don't follow the recipe of mutual trust and respect, don't be surprised you're divorced, you're miserable, unhappy, and falling apart. That's it. Very simple as that. Very simple.
Yeah.
I think my strength, everybody tells me, is Ichak. You take complicated situations, complicated concepts, make them simple. I'm very proud to make them simple. Because most people say, it's so simple, it's obvious. I say, it took me 50 years to come to that conclusion, it's obvious. I try to simplify things. We decide if we are going to be godly or not. We decide whether we create a blessing or we create a curse. We are the masters. There is nobody up there. What is up there is a system of values we either accept or we don't accept. Period. Who created the system of values? No idea. It has been there forever and ever and ever and ever, and we're there forever. System of values. A recipe that makes the universe work, that makes the world work, that makes the ecosystem work, that makes you work, that makes your marriage work, that makes your children grow up healthy. It is the same done recipe. Don't make the recipe work right, and it does not work. That's it. Now I understand my life much better. I don't know for you. I understand my life much better. Change my marriage. Help my marriage. Here are the rules. Follow the rules. Mutual trust and respect. You bring mutual trust and respect. Don't be surprised if the marriage does not work. As simple as that. How much simpler can it be? Okay, guys. We always decided to finish on time. Bless you. All the best. See you next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
You for a second looked like the Pope, but I meant in all the good sense. You blessed us. That was very nice of you, in fact.
By the way, you know, this is very interesting. Look at this. The vertical and horizontal. Too many us look horizontal for a goal. Look what the values that drive your goals. Look up. Are you following the values when you look at the goal? So only looking this way does not work. Looking only this way, like in India, they're all starving to death spiritually. What you want is both. By the way, somebody Christian told me that's the symbol of the cross for him. Both. I look this way, but I look this way. I look at both ways. All the best, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Somebody should add the hugs into Zoom so that we can thank you in a more appropriate way, Ichak.
Okay, my friend. Oh, by the way, my birthday is 22nd of October. Wish me well. 85. 85, guys. 85.
58. We read it the other way around. 58.
One day before you, Ichak. October 21st,
Oh, really? So we are.
Wonderful.
How old are you?
65.
Little baby. Little
Also
baby,
56.
little
You're all
baby.
reading
I
numbers
wish
the
I was.
wrong way.
I wish I was 65. I wish I was 65.
Hasta la vista.
Come on in, the
Hasta
water's
luego.
warm.
Bye, 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 guys.
Bye
Bye,
bye. Thank you.
Costas.